My name is McKay Allen. I'm the content manager at Log My Calls, and we're really excited to have Jake Jordan with Agency Entourage with us today. And thank you all for coming. We're excited that you're here as well. We have these webinars once or twice a week. We didn't have one last week because of Memorial Day, but we generally have them once a week, and we try to have really good presenters and excellent content. And today is going to be especially good. It's about keyword research. So if you are in the online marketing world at all, you need to know this information. It'll help you write copy. It'll help you buy ads. It'll help you improve your SEO. So we're excited Jake's here with the content. Let's get a couple of house cleaning items out of the way, and then we'll get right into the meat of the presentation and then to your questions and Jake's answers. First, if you have questions during the webinar, and we hope you do, just type those into the little question bar on your GoToWebinar screen there, and I'll read those to Jake at the conclusion. So type those throughout or at the end, and then we'll have Jake answer those. So questions are usually great. They're pretty fun with our webinars. We get a lot of questions generally, so please ask questions. Second, I do want to give you a little bit of background about Log My Calls and about Agency Entourage. Log My Calls is a call tracking and call analytics solution, so we help marketers track which channels, methods, campaigns, keywords, etc. generate phone calls. And Agency Entourage, they are a full-service digital agency in Dallas, but they have clients all over the country. They do everything from branding and SEO to SEM and paid online ads. So they are full service and can help you in whatever marketing efforts you want to use. As far as Jake, he is the senior SEO strategist at Agency Entourage. He actually has a new ebook coming out on Amazon that's going to be discussing SEO tactics. So he's a very sought-after SEO expert, and the content for today's webinar is really good. So with that, I do want to send it over to Jake and make sure I did an adequate job introducing everything, and see if there's any questions from him or if he just wants to launch into it.
Thanks, McKay. You did perfect. That's
awesome.
More praise than I'm used to getting. So, welcome everybody. Like McKay said, I'm in Dallas, Texas, and it's actually raining today, which is kind of norm for this time of year. But just wanted to let you know what we plan on covering here in the next 20 to 25 minutes. I always like when I go into webinars to know what I can expect and take away. So figured I would tell you guys the same thing. First off is the SEO industry is an interesting one. It's always changing and has been rapidly changing in the last 12 months. And so I want to cover a little bit of history and what's gone on and gives people some context about why the things have changed and why that's important for you as a business owner. And the second thing is we want to cover 3 general SEO myths that still kind of thrive today, and based on all the different things that have gone on, continue to hold on and talk about why those are correct or incorrect. And then third, I promised everybody that I would send you home with a 30-minute plan for doing keyword research. So we will make that happen at the end as well, and just a couple resources. So we're going to dive right in. Like McKay said, my name is Jake Jordan. I'm the Senior SEO Strategist at Agency Entourage. I was trained as a marketing specialist coming out of college, targeted marketing specialist. SEO is one of the ways that we can get to finding targeted customers. Currently run the SEO department across 20-plus verticals nationwide with lots of different things going on. It makes for really interesting, real fun work. This is actually a picture from South by Southwest this past year in Austin, Texas, and gives you a little idea of I'm kind of a laid-back guy and like to enjoy myself. And just to let you know, I did get out of the box here, so I'm not doing the webinar from inside the box. Hopefully I don't sound like it either. Let's see here. So let's just jump right in. SEO myth number 1. Keyword research is hard. Now there's several different viewpoints on this because keyword research really has to do with going and finding out what your customers are typing into search engines and how can you get to them, and using all the proper tools and methods to find out how you can connect with your customers. So SEO myth 1, keyword research is hard. That's wrong. thinking is hard. Keyword research is just a tactic. It's something that gets you, it's a means to an end. So give you a little bit about my background and how SEO ties into that. I started out in real estate coming out of college. Back in the early 2000s, many of you may know that the real estate industry was booming, and I live in Texas, so it was really doing well, and it continues to do well. And spent my time finding and selling houses, buying them, rehabbing them, fixing up, selling them to people who wanted to buy homes, selling them to realtors, selling them to anybody who would buy. And we were pretty good at it. And our main avenue of marketing was direct mail. And we would find areas of town or different types of properties, and we would look for either distressed properties or distressed homeowners and go in and find out how we could help them solve their real estate problem. And once that was done, we would fix it up and sell it. And direct mail allowed us to get to the specific type of audience that we were looking for. And we spent a lot of time learning out how to write good copy, and spent a lot of time figuring out how to find the right people to target so that our marketing efforts were efficient and that we were finding the right people so that we could make more money. And what happened was back in 2002, there was a glut of people coming into the market as investors trying to buy property, and so we were looking for competitive advantages. And my family has always grown up knowing about tech. In the 90s, my younger brother, was building computers and selling them to people who needed home computers. So we've kind of always been tuned in to the tech stuff. And what happened is we figured out that we could build little landing pages on websites for each of our properties that we were selling, and just do a little bit of research on the types of words that people were typing in. And all of a sudden we would have people calling us off these web pages. And what we found out was that you could type in something like a 3-bedroom house in Dallas, Texas, and our web page would pop up. And that was just doing some basic research and figuring out how to theme out or optimize a web page. Well, that was great, and that was very successful for us. It worked well enough that we actually were teaching people how to do it. And of course, then that market began to speed up, and lots of other people started figuring out how to do that. And then Google decided that they were going to step in. So as you can see here, this is actually something from today I pulled at Realtor.com. When you optimize a page and you're doing SEO, what you're doing is theming out a page for a specific subject. And in this case, it's for a house in Richardson, Texas, with a particular size and space and price point. And you'll see up top on the left there in the tab in your browser, you would see the words in yellow there that people that you're theming the page for. Our hope is that people are typing in house for sale, Richardson, Texas, and we put those words into the yellow box. That's one of the factors that the search engines look at. Second there, you have the header where it says 1213 Melrose Drive on the page with a little orange line outside it. We would, Richardson, Texas, if that was one of our target areas to buy homes, we would make sure it's Richardson. Anyway, down the page, as many places as possible. Down there in the property details, we want to write words on the page that people are searching for. Well, we were doing that, and things became harder and harder. What we found out was that Google started looking more closely at ways to give better search results, but also to catch people who were cheating. You may have heard of black hat versus white hat SEO. It's just like the old cowboy westerns. Black hat is honest all the time, or I'm sorry, white hat is honest all the time, and black hat may do some things that not necessarily be illegal, but they won't take the straightest way forward. So what happened is lots of people were trying to game the system. They were trying to find ways to find loopholes and cheat at times in different ways that they could get into the search results without doing honest work. And that's what was happening in the real estate industry because it was super competitive and still is. And so as you can see, a lot of you may have heard about the Panda and Penguin updates that have been happening with Google in the last couple of years. And but if you look back there in 2003, they sound more like hurricane names with Esmeralda and Dominic and Cassandra. And each update really was trying to crack down on catching the people who were being dishonest and making it harder for small businesses. So everyone kind of has their own opinion on what Google's motives are. And I've seen the guys at Google, the CEO and the COO, and those guys speak and spoken with them at different conferences. And I think they have the right idea in mind. But of course, they are a for-profit company, and so they're going to do what's going to help them as well. So here's what we come back to. SEO research and SEO really comes back to basic marketing principles. You need to do market research before you start your SEO research. A lot of times what you'll find is that people who are doing SEO will try and do SEO research to find their market instead of finding their market and to do SEO. So they've got it backwards. And for a long time, as Google's been trying to help cure this issue, marketers have not been helping. A lot of times we do what's best for our clients, and it may not be what's necessarily the best marketing practice. The good news is with all the updates that have happened is we're getting back to a traditional marketing situation. If you don't understand marketing, if you don't understand how business works, then you can't be a good SEO these days, which is awesome for me because I started in marketing and took on SEO as a way to target the demographics. What you see down there below is a link to a webinar from Moz.com, formerly SEOmoz.com. They are really kind of the benchmark for education and tools, in my opinion, for SEO. And they hold webinars just like this one. And they're a great place. This one is by a lady named Ray Drysdale. And we're talking about link building in this particular webinar, which just means you go out and you find other websites to point back to your website to show the search engines that you're popular and that you matter and that you have authority. So that's the basis of the webinar, but inside of it is really what inspired my subject for this webinar, was doing proper market research for your clients to find out where to go find the customers. So back when we were doing direct mail for real estate, one of the popular metaphors that we like to use was shotgun approach versus rifle approach. Anybody who's been around guns, handles guns, knows that shotguns throw out a wide spread. If you were to shoot a wall, you'd have stuff all over the wall. It's kind of a wide target. A sniper rifle, on the other hand, has a very specific target and knows exactly what it's aiming for. So it's the same way when we're doing market research, which means it's the same way when we're doing SEO research. Targeting marketing wins. So anytime if you're doing keyword research, you're doing content strategy, you're doing branding for a company, or for yourself for that matter, you require more specific knowledge about the customer. And what we're finding is as more and more and more people come online and more people are becoming publishers and doing things to publish information, the white noise factor goes way up. To get found in, especially to get found in very competitive markets, it takes really targeted research to get results. The good news is it doesn't take any more time. The bad news is we can't turn our brains off. Used to, if we wanted to go find something, we could type in something very basic like insurance, which is what I'm going to get into here in a second. We could just type in the word insurance, and you have a possibility of coming up in the search results. Now we have to be a whole lot more specific than that. So we have a client that is an insurance broker, and so the first thing we want to do in this SEO research, and it'll look a lot like market research, is to find out who the potential customer is for our insurance broker. As you can see in this little mind map up here above, this is a tool called xmind.com. It's a free tool. I like to use whiteboards a whole lot. So I'm a visual tactile guy. So when I'm not a whiteboard, I like to use brainstorming tools like this. And I've got that actually listed at the end of here on the resources page. But what you'll see is I've picked out 6 different target demographics based on who might be interested in buying insurance for their company, because this is an insurance broker who sells insurance to small to medium-sized businesses. So up above on the top left, you can see first came to my mind was human resource department. They're obviously looking for ways, insurance being one of them, to provide benefits. Second might be C-level. If there's not a human resource department, it's a small business, the C-level people are going to be looking at insurance. Third, just your small business owner. That's another group of people that is really big, and so that gives us a lot of opportunity to dig into that a little bit later. Third is other brokers. Those of you who don't know, insurance brokers actually buy from other insurance brokers. If they don't have products that they want to sell, then they can buy them from other brokers. Specific verticals, meaning there are definite industries that require insurance. Say workers' comp would be something that laborious industries are going to be looking for. So we can go into very specific markets that this insurance broker has products for. And the Jewish community, this client is very, very active in the Jewish community, and that's a tight-knit group, and so they get a lot of business, and so that's definitely an area that they target. So what we see is if we dig down here a layer deeper, we go from insurance brokers, let's look at the small business owners group. We want to find out who inside small business owners can we look at specifically. And what I did was just broke things down into what type of small business owners are there. There's service-based owners, there's product-based owners, and there's information-based businesses. So if you go down to number 2 there, we're under insurance brokers. We've looked at small business owners. We've looked at the service-based business. Inside the service-based business, there, for example, might be construction businesses who go someplace to build. There's medical, where you can either go there or they can come to you. There's cleaning services. These are just the top 3 things that popped into my mind is places that might need insurance who are service-based. Really what we're trying to do here is find a rabbit trail and hop our way down it, because the more specific we can be about the type of people that we want to reach, the more specific we can be about our messages, our content, our keywords, our branding, our tactics, the places that we find them. This is the epitome of what's important in finding people online. And for that matter, traditional marketing, because this is where I first learned these things. It's back when we were doing snail mail and networking at events and things like that. All the same principles apply. Okay, so now what I've done here is I've gone into the Google keyword tool, a very popular tool to do keyword research. It's at adwords.google.com, and you'll find that on the resource page if you don't already know where that's at. And what we see here is I started on the left with, started a little broader. I just typed in small business health insurance because that's the product our client sells, and we know that that was one of the groups that we wanted to target. And what you'll see down below, and this is, you'll see the keywords that came back on that search, and out beside it, it says low. That's the competition level for people competing for that keyword. Actually, out further to the right, I just didn't include it, was the amount of searches each month. So you want to, what we're looking for here is a keyword target or a subject of some sort that has low competition, but that has a decent amount of traffic each month, people looking for it. What I found was health insurance tax credit. You see that in the red box. So people who are looking for insurance are interested in what the taxes are on that insurance and tax credits and whatnot. So I just took that subject and ran another keyword research, just went right back up into that search box under number 2 and typed in health insurance tax credit. What we found was a couple of different ideas. Tax on health insurance provided by employer. That's something I can see an HR rep typing in because they want to know the type of taxes they're going to be responsible for when they're supplying that insurance. Also, Affordable Health Care Act health insurance premium tax credit. That's a very specific request based on something that's going on right now in the industry. So both of those are great thoughts on the type of things that we want to address on our websites, the type of things you want to address on a blog, the type of things you want to address in social media, the type of groups you want to get into and have discussions about. This is really good basic research. Because bottom line is we're out looking for problems that our client can provide solutions for. So SEO myth number 2. SEO doesn't work as well as it used to. Now, if you believe SEO myth number 1, that SEO is hard, then you probably believe SEO myth number 2, because it's not as easy as it used to. But that doesn't mean it doesn't work like it used to. So wrong. SEO works the same as it did. It was just a tactic. You just need better, not more research. We talked a little bit about market research under myth 1, and that to me is better research. So what we have now these days are social media. Back when search engines started, the only way to find out what people wanted from your business was the basic ways through email was around. You could ask them via email. You could do surveys. You could ask them in store. We're always asking questions of our customers to find out how we can do things better. How can we make our products better? What additional services and products can we provide to you? So as we just covered, we want to be the solution for their problem. So the best way to do that is ask. So FAQs can be approached several different ways online. As you can see, I've listed 3 different sources that are some of my favorite places to go out and find information. Because these social groups, LinkedIn groups, Facebook groups, surveys on Facebook, quizzes, things like that, and Quora, which I'll cover here in a second, are all great places to go where your customers are and find out what they're talking about. Now, the key here is we don't know where to go on these places unless we've done step 1. You have to know who your target market is. You have to know who the groups are inside of that market. And you need to know the types of people that are going to be in the groups. Otherwise, you're going to spend a lot of time wasted on these particular sites not doing the activities that you need to do. You'll be spending a lot of time with your brand out there, but it may not be getting any traction whatsoever. So first, I'll go to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of my favorite spots, business to business, and even from a personal standpoint, because everyone on here is looking to either sell something, promote themselves, find information, do different things to do business. So to me, that's an advantage it has over Facebook. So example, last year we were doing an event, and we were looking for ways to maximize our booth at the event, and we wanted to know who has experience in events in our particular vertical or medium, and what are the types of different activities you did to capture customer information. What's really, really working. And it's amazing. I got up on a group, just a PR group and 2 or 3 different groups, a marketing group, and I looked for a live events group and asked the same question in all 3 groups and just said, I'm doing a live event for my company. Here's what we sell, which is digital marketing and branding, and how can we best capture customers at this show? Here's the show. Here's the type of people that are going to be at the show. And we got between 60 and 70 answers from 20, 25, 30-year veterans in marketing and live event marketing telling us the things to avoid and the things to do. So we literally saved ourselves, the thousands we spent on marketing materials and event to get to the people that we needed and to do it in a way that was not soliciting, to do it in a way that was permission-based. So if you look here, I went to one of in our market research above, we saw that HR groups was a target market for this insurance broker company. So I went this morning and found in LinkedIn the #1 kind of HR group on LinkedIn, and it has something like 800,000 members in it. And remember, I'm not looking for insurance groups because I'm not interested necessarily in going and competing against other insurance groups for the attention of clients. I'm looking for clients, for customers. So I'm going in and I'm looking for the human resource groups. Now, obviously, we can do this with all the different subjects that we discovered in the market research, but let's focus on HR for the moment. This particular group has lots of people, as I discussed. You can see latest updates right in the center of the screen there. People are active on this, 6 minutes, 11 minutes. The one after that was 14 minutes, and then 22 minutes. People are active on this group, so that's good news. We know there's people there, there's stuff going on. You can also see on the right there, top influencers of this week. There are people here who we can target to ask questions who are out there and willing to talk, so we're not bugging people. I didn't include anything in this particular webinar, but just a side note. We don't want to go in here and spam people. We don't want to go in here and promote our business. The whole strategy here, and this is also a social media strategy. Like I said, things online are getting back to basic marketing principles, and that's what's getting you found. Is that what we need to do is go in here and find what people are talking about around insurance in the HR industry. And we can do that in LinkedIn through a search bar inside the group. We can just type in insurance and see what type of conversations are going on in HR. Then that gives us the opportunity as an expert for the client to go in and answer those questions, maybe link back to a blog that discusses the subject more. So the tactic there is going and finding out what people are asking about and being willing to to discuss that and go back in our SEO research and use the keywords around these subjects that we're discovering. Here's Quora. Quora is one of my favorite hobby, pastime, entertainment pieces, but it's a great business tool. I don't know if you remember back Yahoo Answers, where people would literally go in and ask medical questions and how to fix their car and just a question and answer board on Yahoo. And you would get people answering these questions and then voting up what they thought was the best answer. Well, that was a nice thing and it was fun. But what we have here is in Quora.com as a second iteration is Quora will go through and find experts. And people can get on here and become certified through their process as an expert in a particular subject area. And we can go in and we can ask about a particular subject. And people who are certified experts, you'll often see really highly popular people you've heard of before in the news and whatnot answering questions on this because they want to be recognized as an expert. They want to continue to keep their brand out there. And so what I've done is just typed in insurance, which is a very, very broad term. We could go in and type in a very specific search in here and see if people have asked that as well. But you can see on the third search down here under insurance, are insurance agents necessary? To me, that looks like a great thing to address as an insurance broker. And what we do is we take that subject back into our SEO research and talk about insurance agents and look for that particular keyword set. So, for example, if I, as an insurance broker, I wanted to answer that, that's a great place just to go in and answer, well, we're an insurance broker, and here's why insurance benefits or insurance agents are necessary. And we can link back to a blog or to an infographic maybe we've created or something along those lines. But what that does is allows us to go back with this information and know that people are asking, what are insurance agents? Are they necessary? What do they do? What are their value for me? And we can take every single one of those subjects. That's a seed for an SEO search, for an SEO keyword research piece. I would go back in and type in, are insurance agents necessary? And look at what keywords are around that. So that's just a great way to seed your keyword research and to find areas to go and research a little bit more. SEO myth number 3, keyword tools don't work. So right off the bat, if you believe 1 and you believe 2, you probably believe number 3. You can guess what the answer is going to be. Wrong. And that's a sorta, because keyword tools just provide data. They're just a tool to help us find information that we can get to a little bit quicker. The tools are only as good as the ideas that are put in. So you can see why, number 1, that market research is really necessary for your keyword tools to do the work that you want them to do. And yes, that is me in my hands, and I am a member of the Dollar Shave Club. You can see my little sticker there. What you'll find is when you're going through and you're doing keyword research, where before I talked about in real estate, when we were just typing in, putting keywords on our pages and getting found, the search engines weren't near as smart as they are today. They allowed you to type in 2-bedroom house in Rowlett, Texas, and come up as the top 3 search results sometimes. Well, as the updates have happened, and as people have gotten smarter, and as more and more information comes onto the internet and makes it harder to find good results, Google has smartly targeted people's user intent. So when we do our keyword research, we should always be focused on what the customer is looking for, not just particularly the words, and provide an exact match for the intent of the search. So don't get me wrong, I am saying you need to cover keywords. You need to find keyword phrases. You need to find things that people are specifically typing. But more importantly, you need to provide an answer to the intent behind the question. And that's a whole other webinar about going through and sorting your page, your keywords based on user intent, not necessarily just based on competition and traffic. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. In keyword research, there's what's called the short tail, the medium tail, and the long tail. And I wish I had put a graphic in here about the long tail. But basically what that means is there's at the beginning of search, you could just type insurance. And the results you would get would be very wide, extremely varied. You would find people talking about Wikipedia talking about what insurance is and where it started and who were the types of people or groups that started insurance companies. And you'll find people looking for insurance companies trying to sell you insurance. And you'll find, any number of things. Medium tail would be insurance options. That's a little bit more specific in its query. We know that the intent behind that is people are looking for the different types of options they can get in insurance. So you might find results for health insurance, for dental insurance, for casualty insurance, for life insurance. Okay, so once again, not quite as specific as you can be. So the long tail is when people are typing out long phrases like I've got above. Very interesting stat. Each day, 20% of the searches done on Google or any search engine are brand new searches, never before searched before, which is staggering. Another thing that you hear is that 90% of the information that's been produced on the internet has been done so in the last 2 years. So things are just getting crazy. So to do good search engine keyword research, we first have to focus on, number one, the market. We need to know who we're aiming at. Number two, we need to find out what they're aiming at, which is what myth number 2 we covered in going into the social places and finding out what people are searching for. So number 3 here in our keyword tool, we need to make sure that we're looking for people who are asking questions so that we can answer them. So I've typed insurance options for pregnant women. The reason I did that is because my family was in that situation a few years ago. We were without insurance. We were looking as a self-employed. I was looking at ways to insure our family because we were looking to get pregnant and have kids. And so we typed this in. So you can see, number 1, government websites will often get, they're super high authorities, so they will get top billing. This is the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3 search results for this search string. You can see in number 1, it's just talking about pregnant women and the Affordable Care Act. I might find some information about my insurance options, but I want something that's going to tell me all my options, not just the Affordable Care Act. So number 2, health insurance for pregnant women. That's a large organization, high authority, around American Pregnancy Org. If I go down and read the kind of description, it says there are approximately 13% of women who become pregnant each year who are without health insurance, often resulting in inadequate prenatal care. Okay, I know that not having insurance for my pregnant wife is not a good thing. So that's not particularly answering my question. Number 3, this is the one that matches my user intent, my searcher intent. Not only is it an exact match to what I typed, insurance options for pregnant women, it's also on hub pages, which I just happen to know is an information site, lots of how-tos and things on that. I go through and I read what the page I'm going to, and it says a positive pregnancy test is both exhilarating and frightening at the same time for pregnant women who do not have health insurance. Sounds like to me they're about to tell me what my options are. So to me, that's a great example of how matching searcher intent will get you more search results, more traffic to your websites. And we're number 3. We're not even number 1 or 2. So what is your choice? And are you providing a choice that satisfies the intent of the search? So end of the day, after all these 3 myths are covered and we've addressed this, what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is listen to your customer. And why is there a kitten up there? Because kittens are super popular, and they're all over YouTube and Instagram and Facebook kittens. So I'm listening to my customer. People like kittens, right? So, so here's what I promised for you, a 30-minute plan to keyword research. I'm a simplistic guy. I'm practical. I like to see things, just break it down for me in bullets. So number 1, list all the groups that may want your product. That's what we did for the insurance broker. We found those 6 groups of people. It really should only take you about 10 minutes if you know anything about your client. It may take a little longer if you don't know anything going in about your client. But I like to whiteboard this. I like to get a group of people and ask. You can bang this out real quick in 10 minutes. Number 2, list all the people in one group to target. We went to small business owners in our example, and we found service-based, product-based, and information-based. For your particular market, it may be 10 different groups. It may just be 2 groups. That's good. Really, if you know anything about your market, you should probably be within about 10 minutes to just knock out a few things. Number 3, do keyword research for one set of people. So we want to look at one set of people and one set of group. That should really only take you about 10 minutes to just do one set of people. And what you find is you have a subject areas and keywords that for that particular people that are low competition and have a decent amount of traffic. Now I know that's a very high level look, but that is the basics of how to do good keyword research, and it's something that people overcomplicate. It's something that people spend a lot of time just sitting inside of keyword tools and going back and back in Excel spreadsheets. And I'm all for being thorough and detailed when it calls for it, but this is a great way to start and not get analysis paralysis of analysis. And then, of course, repeat. You go back to each one of those sets of people and groups, and you can find lots of different ways to theme out your website for each of these subject areas. Resources there at the bottom. The obvious one is adwords.google.com. There's lots of valuable information in there. A side note, I always like to tell people that keyword tools are not exact. Keyword tools are general estimates. They like to give you an idea of what's more popular than the other things. So use keyword tools as guides. Don't use them as exact. The best way to test how much traffic is to actually run an ad in AdWords with Google and to find out what people are paying for when they click. So that's just kind of a side note there. Second is SwissMadeMarketing.com. I didn't actually talk about this, but this is the keyword tool that I like the best. It does a really good job of letting you use filters to find subject areas and to find similar searches and things like that, because really what we're looking for is user intent. We're looking for different groups of types of people that we want to target. So that's a great tool for that. And then xmind.com, that's the brainstorming tool. I love free tools. I'm sure we all do. But it's really my favorite one, just because I believe when you write stuff down, it sticks. And so when you whiteboard and when you brainstorm and things like that, you come up with things that you might not come up with inside your head. So that's it. My closing statement here would probably be that keyword research is really much more about the research, not about the keywords. So just remember that when you're moving forward. And I'm open for some questions. Love to hear your feedback.
Awesome, Jake. That was really great information. We really appreciate that. There are a few questions coming in, so I want to just start asking a few of these, if that's okay with you, sir.
Sure.
First question is actually for me about if the webinar is being recorded. It is being recorded. As soon as we're done with the Q&A, I'll show you exactly where that recording will be housed so everybody can access to it and share it with your friends and your neighbors and pets, etc. So, all right, let's break into the questions, Jake. So first question, you used a lot of different tools to really gather research. You mentioned the tools at the end, but you also advocate going into LinkedIn groups, asking questions. If someone is if someone's just getting started, I guess is the best way to put it, maybe starting their research, they've maybe got a website, but they don't really know where to go next, what would you advocate doing? Is it a matter of just starting with those sites you recommend and starting the research process from there, or how does someone just get started from the ground level of this keyword research stuff?
Right, and I think that's a good way to think about it, because I think a lot of people, like I say, complicate the process. So I think simple is the best way for most everybody. And that means starting with, like I said, LinkedIn is really one of my favorite places to go jump into your market and find out what people are talking about. The key there is to make sure you're thinking about ancillary businesses that aren't your own, but that are the target of your demographic, the people you're trying to reach. So I would recommend the Google Keyword Tool. It's free. It's a great place to start research. LinkedIn as a very basic kind of market thermometer to see what's going on, and then taking the subjects and things that you find in there along with whatever you brainstorm on your whiteboard and going into the keyword tool and just seeing what it gives you. What we're looking for to start is subject areas that we can cover or that we may already even have content for that we can go out and optimize our site for and look for keywords around those subjects. I think the other thing that I might mention would be sorry, I'm kind of going on a side thing here, is just to make sure that you are spending time in traditional market research before you use any tool. Because when you get out into the internet, into especially the social atmosphere, it's really easy to get lost. just because there's so much going on. So just knowing what you're looking for, who your target is, and then just going real simple and finding, what do people want to know about my industry that I'm trying to sell to.
That's great. That's good information. In terms of how content plays a role in all this, obviously one of the sort of tactical moves after doing keyword research, or maybe even as a part of it, would be content production around SEO. How does content marketing play a role in this whole keyword research idea before, after, during, etc.?
Well, I mean, content strategy is the big buzz phrase. It's all over the place, and I think the reason that is because the internet has made it extremely simple for anyone to become a publisher and anyone to become a photographer or a journalist with all these social tools that we have out there. So, if you're looking at things from a top-down perspective, if you're an owner of a business, if you're a C-level, if you're someone who's dealing in a lot of that, I think it's important to have a content strategy in mind after you've done your first research. It's easy to get pulled off in directions based on what you think you should be sharing instead of listening to what your customer is telling you they want to know. So after that initial kind of market research phase is done, I think it's very important. As I was kind of streaming through the insurance stuff this morning on keyword research, I saw several kind of blog topics that were good fits for our client. Just because you're in keyword research doesn't mean you can't be thinking about content strategy. But once you get done with keyword research and you know the subject areas, to me it's just a handshake to whoever's writing that content, because here's what people are looking for. Here's kind of some keywords and some subjects that were being talked about. Let's hand it off and let them attack those different subject areas. We can obviously get very, very wide in content strategy and all the different things, but because you can provide all sorts of different types of content, but the important part is, number one, are you covering something that people want to hear about, and number two, are you doing it in a manner that is valuable to them?
That's great. And then we're having actually some people say, hey, they're trying the URL for XMind, and they say it's not working, and I'm actually having the same issue. It's not pulling up as a legitimate domain.
Well, let me see.
So I want to make sure we give people that info before we
see if we can find that. .net.
.net. All right. Perfect. That's awesome. Okay, so .net is the XMind.
I'll change it in the meantime in the resources.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you for that. That's a good clarification. I'm not sure what XMind would have gotten us. A couple more questions, and then we'll let everybody get back to the rest of their day. In terms of keyword research, what are the biggest mistakes you see people make? Is it a lack of research? Is it researching in the wrong places, or deriving the wrong conclusions from the research? Where are the mistakes with keyword research that you see other agencies or maybe clients make?
Yeah, and I guess the soapbox I'm on today is about research. So without beating a dead horse here, that's the big thing. You got to know who you're looking for. You got to know what they need, and the only way to do that is to ask and find out. But past that, I would say probably more from a tactical perspective. I think a lot of people get lost in the forest because of the trees. They just see all these different avenues that they can pursue, and honestly, that you get better at it with practice, which is kind of a horrible thing to say. Just go out there and do some. But there's tons and tons and tons of good blog information about how to tactically do keyword research out there. Like I mentioned, Moz.com has a lot of information around that. But what I would say is the biggest mistake is not doing enough research, so they don't know what they're looking for. Not doing extensive enough research. Don't just stop at the first group. Don't just stop at the first set of people. And then probably number two is testing, because in the long run, we do initial keyword research for clients, and when we're done, we theme the pages out and we start developing content and social around it. You gotta see what's working and what's not working, and be willing to go back and adjust the keywords, and maybe even adjust the subjects because you just had it wrong, or it was something trendy and it went away, or you got to be willing to test and look at analytics and go, okay, the user intent I thought was not the same, or just really, it's that whole listening piece. adjusting when you see what's working and what's not working. And I think a lot of people set it and forget it. And gosh, with the technology we have, we have tools that do all that for us and spoon feed us the information. So all we have to do is take the time to break it down a little bit.
That's great.
And then including you guys, I never did give you props to Log My Calls. We use Log My Calls for a good portion of our clients as a really important key performance indicator, especially service-based businesses or places that you're coming in and like an auto repair shop, and we're using tracking numbers to go all the way back to find the keywords that they typed, to the web pages they landed on, to the phone number that they use, that we can track that, and even connect it on the back end with our point of sale, and literally find out what's going on from keyword research through a tool like Log My Calls, which has been really valuable in an analytics standpoint.
That's awesome. Thanks for that too, Jake. We appreciate it. You guys do a really good job with your clients as well. The last question, I do want to get into exactly where people can find this recorded webinar. And I'm going to take screen back from you, Jake, real quick here, just to show people. Make sure people can see it. Okay, perfect. So if you go to logmycalls.com, right in the middle of the page, you're going to see a link to webinar series. If you click on that, you're going to end up right here, and you can see this webinar right here, and you can see down below we've got webinars coming up, and then a page in we have recorded webinars. So these have been some of our recent webinars. So the webinar recording will be on this page, logmycalls.com. Oh, there we are, my Joomla. Logmycalls.com/webinar. It'll take you right here, and you'll be able to see the recording, and I'll have it up as quickly as we can after the call is over today. So, Jake, any last words before we conclude today?
I just want to say that thanks to everybody who came out. I'm a big proponent of sharing, which is one of the reasons I'm here. So if you ever have questions or just want to connect or whatnot, we're at agencyentourage.com and LinkedIn and all those good places. Come find us. Come find me. And that's probably just appreciate people coming to educate themselves, because bottom line, if we're in find things to make ourselves better business owners, it's good for everybody. So
that's awesome. And the most telling indicator of how successful an agency is really is the quantitative results they drive. And I can tell you, just after looking at the Agency Entourage Log My Calls data, they drive a lot of phone calls for their clients. So that's a very good indicator of the success that their clients have using these guys. So Jake, thank you, and we appreciate it. Everybody, thank you for spending a few minutes with us today. We appreciate it. Get back to your Thursday, and then after tomorrow, have a wonderful weekend, and this recording will be available shortly.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.